Hi ladies and gentlemen, wanted to give you guys a tutorial video on how to use the debugger in Eclipse. Right now I'm looking at a file that we actually used a while ago. This was our stats reader file that we used where we read some stats on NBA players and then just kind of printed out some stuff. But I kind of want to show you some of the situations that we're running into right now, where if I originally run this file, this is a typical situation we would use a debugger where we're saying, oh, it looks like in my file on line 58, I'm trying to divide by 0. So a lot of times what I do is I go down to that line 58 and I'm like, oh man, it looks like something in this temp player is probably the number 0. And so usually we'll start our debugger somewhere, usually for loops or while loops are really a great place to start. You can start them anywhere. But I'm, for instance, going to start my debugger on line 53 where this for loop is happening. And all you do is you double click off on the left-hand side of the line that you want to use, and the little breakpoint shows up. So the program is going to run full speed until it hits line 53. It will stop, and then it'll let us do whatever we want. To initiate the debugger, up in the left corner, there's just a picture of a bug. You click it. I have some errors, but that's okay. This will happen all the time. Most of your computers will actually right now pop up another screen that says, hey, we want to change your perspective. Just click yes, okay, whatever it says. It basically brings you to this page and says, hey, our debugger is going to look a little different than what your page does right now. Perfectly fine. If you ever want to go back and forth between your pages, in the top right corner, there's a tab for your Java, and then there's a tab for your debugger. You can always swap back and forth. They look exactly the same as how you left them. So here we are. I pressed the debugger. It ran full speed, as you see, to line 53. It stopped. And so what it says now is it'll highlight a line in green. That line actually has not been executed yet. In order to execute it, you have to press one of two buttons. If you look up top here, there's some buttons, commands. I usually typically use the actual buttons on the keyboard, though. F5 is where you step into, and F6 is step over. I'll explain what those mean a little bit more when we get into that kind of situation. If you ever want to stop your debugger, you can terminate it right here, and you should be good to go there. So I'm going to use, first off, this step into function. This is a function that goes line by line, and if it's allowed to go into a method call of any sort, like a getter or a setter, or if you're building or if you're going into a constructor, this will take you to those files and still go line by line by line. Whereas if you press F6, it will just say, okay, I know that you wanted to build something, or I know you wanted to get this value. And I'll show you an example of those in a little bit. But so use those to your advantages so you speed up the process a little bit. But so right now, line 53, I'm going to go ahead and press F5. It says, hey, I'm going to execute this value. If you remember for loops, this temp player is hopefully holding on to some player object. In the top right corner, you'll see all your variables up here. So here I see this thing called temp player. It looks like it is a player object. If you wanted to even open that up, you could look and see, here's some situations I'm running into. Right now, my temp player doesn't have a first name, a last name, doesn't have any total games or points. This could be an issue. So if I look back down to my file, and let's just see where this happens. Right now I'm on line 55. I'm going to go ahead and execute that line. Line 58, I'm going to go ahead and press F5. Now notice there's a couple method calls in here. There's get total points and there's get total games. If I press F5, which I will, it will actually bring me to those methods and show me what it's doing. So first it'll go into, whoops, I went a little fast in that one. But that one went into get total points and it just showed the return. Now we're going to go get total games. It's going to return the total games to us. Now that's just the two methods that happen. The line has not fully executed yet. So if I press F5 one more time, we can actually look and see up here as to my temp player. If I went and got his points in his games, they're both should be 0. So I should be getting a divide by 0 error. If you press F5 twice, it'll kind of just catch the exception and then throw it. You'll see that, oh, I divided by 0. Well, if we wanted to figure out what exactly is going on now, we might have to back up a little bit. So I'm going to go back to my Java. I'm going to say, well, clearly our players that are in this array are not functioning. Let's go back to where we created the players. Let's go back to this while loop. I'm going to start the debugger here. We'll do the same thing and see if we can catch on to what the problem is. So we'll run it. It changes your perspectives again. Okay, I'm going to press F5 this time to go through here. It says, oh, as I scan names, still pressing F5. Looks like first name's LeBron. Last name is Jordan. Keeps adding lines. Total games. Okay, it looks like I'm reading my information correctly. This is awesome. I'm going to keep pressing F5, F5. I'm going to press F5 again. It should take me to the constructor. And here's my problem. I didn't even do my constructor. Darn. Okay, not a big problem. Easy fix. Stop your debugger, go on from there. You can go back, fix it now, and then restart however you want. You can go back to your Java screen. But one thing I do want to make important is that F6 button. So if we were to debug this one more time, I just wanted to show you this. The stop point is exactly the same. And what an F6 does is if I press all these values like F6, F6, or I'm sorry, I'm pressing F5 right now. Right here, if I pressed F6, it would actually just skip over this line. It wouldn't actually go into the constructor, and I would have an entire player built already, good to go. So like I stepped over line 47, and I just knew that I was going to be filling that in with something. If you look at line 47, I actually am building an array called my top 6. Up in the top right corner, you'll find all your variables. Hey, look, there's my top 6. I filled it with one player so far, so position 0 should be a player. Of course, I haven't fixed it yet, but this should have all my values. Once I go back to my player class and actually put in the constructor, this should be there. So if you have any other questions on this, let me or Mrs. Denna know. We can help you guys out. But if you want another video at any point in time, let me know. We can make one for you guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.